Hi, congratulations on your new RV. We're really excited for you. Please make sure before you're signing that you bring the following items with you. If you're a cash buyer, please make sure that you bring a cashier's check, no personal checks at time of signing, or you may bring actual cash. If you're a finance customer, please make sure that you bring proof of insurance listing your specific lien holder. If you need that information, please call us ahead of time. Also, make sure that you bring all valid driver's license of all persons that will be listed on the title. If you have a trade that you're trading in with us, please make sure that you bring your 10-day payoff as well as your title and all persons who will be listed on the title of that trade. Arrive 30 minutes early before your appointment time so we can properly inspect your unit, and also make sure that you have the fridge on and running prior to arrival. If you have any questions, please feel free to give us a call at 810-686-0710. Thanks so much. Have a great day.
Hello, this is Mike with TradeWinds RV Center, here to congratulate you with your purchase of your Catalina Legacy 263 BHSCK bunkhouse travel trailer. I'm here to walk you around it, show you how to use a few things to get the best out of your camping experience. Let's start by talking about arriving at the campsite. A couple things to take into consideration when parking. On your campsite, leave plenty of room for this awning to come out. Over on your off campsite, of course, leave room for this slide to come in and out unimpeded. Then I want you to leave yourself a nice walking path, because the next thing you need to think about is where your power and water connections are. Your power is going to plug in the rear corner on your driver's side of your tow vehicle or your off campsite. Then your water connection is going to be just ahead of that. So park accordingly so you can utilize facilities at the campsite. Once you arrive, unhook our hitch. First thing we're going to do is level our unit. Your unit does come with a power tongue jack. Night docking light, should you arrive at night, simply raise or lower the unit to get it level. If you lose power underneath here, manual override for that little hand crank here, so you can get this up and down if you don't have power. Get that on there and just crank this up and down. Speaking of power, check your battery post now and then. Make sure those haven't wiggled loose as you're coming down the road. Once we got our unit level and stable, or level, next thing we're going to do is stabilize it. All four corners of the unit, you have these 3/4 inch crank down stabilizing jacks. As I crank down, I'm going to recommend stabilizing jack pads. Jack pads are going to protect the feet of your stabilizing jacks from dirt and debris and hot blacktop in the summer. Keep them from sinking into the ground and better distribute the weight. Now, when you run these down, you're only going to want to run this down until this is taut with the ground. Once it starts to feel like it's starting to lift the unit, stop. Because remember, we've already got the unit level. All we're trying to do now is stabilize it. Get all four of those down. 2 in the front. 2 in the rear. Once you got a unit level and stable, we'll hook up our power and water. Big long 30 amp cord right here. At the end of that 30 amp cord, should you need to plug in to a 110, there's a 30 to 15 amp plug into 110. That's your power hooked up. Let's hook up our water. At the campsites, we will hook up to this city water connection. First and foremost, your water pressure regulator. This water pressure regulator is going to reduce the water pressure to 40 to 50 psi. It's going to protect the lines in your unit. Always use this when putting fluid in here. Hook that up. Hook up your hose, but don't turn your hose on yet. Let's go find your hot water heater on your unit. It is going to be just to the left of your bedroom entry doorway. Here's your hot water heater. All we're doing at this point, folks, make sure our drain plug's back in. You may have left it out from the last time you were camping. Go ahead and get that back in there, nice and snug and tight. Some plumber's tape around it, not putty. Putty will gum up on you. Some plumber's tape, get that in there snug. Then you can go ahead and turn that hose on. After the hose has been on for a little while, go inside, deploy the slide if you need to. Your unit's level and stable and you can. But what I need you to do is get inside and open up your water taps. Get all the air out of the lines. Once you got a steady flow of water flowing through everything, shut them off, and then you can turn on your hot water heater from indoors. There is an on-off electric element right here. It is set to off. The only time you ever want to turn this on out here is if you are hooked up to 110. Otherwise, just turn it on indoors. If your hot water heater doesn't seem to be working, Come out and look to see if these are bubbled up. If they are, simply press them back in. They're a reset. And then your pressure release valve. Now let's say we're going to go camping and we're not going to use city water. We're going to go boondocking, or dry camping as they call it. We come over here, underneath your passage doorway is your freshwater connection. No need for a water pressure regulator here. Simply use a hose. Two ways to tell when this is full. One, there's an overflow valve right here. Or two, on the inside where you check the levels of your battery and black and gray tanks, there's also a freshwater button that you can hold to tell when this is full. Once that's full, remove your hose, put your cap back on, and then whenever you want to utilize this fresh water or potable water, you turn on your water pump. Don't turn on your water pump when using city water that's already pressurized. All right, we're all set up to camp with power and water. Let me walk you around the rest of the outside of the unit. Starting here on your off campsite front. Here's your big pass-through storage area. Again, your freshwater tank. Here's your freshwater drain. We'll drain that when leaving. There's an extra gray tank, or galley tank, that will drain when we're leaving. Here's our regular black and gray tanks. Sewer outlet and wastewater being gray. Up here is your black tank flush. We'll talk about that when we leave the campsite and dump our black tank. City water connection. In here with your 751 key is a hot and cold shower with a handle holder for the handle and shower. Plug in your cable here at the campsites. Again, your power. Do you have an accessory rack that comes down by removing these back cotter pins? Here's your other low point drain. You also prep for a Furion backup camera. Device you can purchase from our store that sets on the dash of your tow vehicle. Electronically communicates with this device, giving you a backup camera for the unit. Come around this side here is your outdoor kitchen. Have to push down on both these at the same time. Get that to come out. Do a quick connect back here with this hose. Quick connect back here. Down to that quick connect right there. And so your grill will run. Push this back in. Push both of them down. It'll snap in. Inside your storage here, it's a great place to keep your propane hose. And here's a spray port hose. There's a spray port on the back here. So you can plug that into, and you can also spray your unit off with it. Make sure you keep this area locked. On your campsite here is your big awning, your LED lights and outdoor speakers. That is a vent for your microwave. You prep for a TV out here. You can set it on a table and plug in cable in 110 here. This is a flue for your furnace. If you're running your furnace, steer clear of that. It will get hot. And make sure you never have anything blocking it. Again, your hot water heater. Your other pass-through side of your pass-through storage. Your propane does come with a cover and is on a regulator. Simply point it toward the tank you wish to be using. Lefty-loosey to open, and you'll see it'll turn green. That means there's gas in it. And lastly, your battery disconnect. This will disconnect all the battery power to the unit. That'll come important later when I talk about your carbon monoxide propane detector. That about covers everything on the outside. Let's go take a look inside your unit. First thing I like to point out in every unit is the fire extinguisher. Make sure that you and everyone that's camped with you knows that the fire extinguisher is located at the entry doorway in case of an emergency. As soon as you come in, immediately to your right up top is a control panel. Here's where you see your brand new battery. Here's the freshwater button I said you can hold down to tell when your potable water is full, and your black and gray tanks. Here's your slide control, your awning control, exterior and interior lights. Here's where you turn on your water pump if you're using potable water, and here's where you turn on your water heater. On your awning, you're only going to want to run that awning out until that white flap falls down and you can see your silver bar. That will run itself up beyond that and run itself up backwards. So keep an eye on it when you run it out. Make sure that you don't run it out too far. On and back in here just simply by hitting retract. And with your awning in, shut off those lights and continue our tour. Also to your right, you got a 110 and a couple of USB ports. Individual lighting above your sink. Self-explanatory microwave. Below that, you have a high and low light and fan. Your cooktop makes an excellent backsplash. Set that up like so. Turn on your panel light. Turn this to light. Hit your spark and there's your flame. So same thing on your oven. Turn this to light. Hit your flame, your spark down here. That will light it. And then set it to the desired temperature. No need for a pilot light anymore. Below your oven is your access panel to your breaker box and fuses. Ton of 15s in there, a couple of 40s. Highly recommend having some of those with you when you go camping. And here is your 12 volt carbon monoxide propane detector. Now the reason I mention this 12 volt, it's always running off your battery. So if you are out dry camping somewhere, out boondocking, and you have nothing plugged in to charge your battery, then use your battery disconnect if you're going to be gone for the day to keep this from running your battery down. On your GE fridge, just want to point out back here, this is simply a battery disconnect only for the fridge. Over here is your Connex TV. Turn that on.
Headed towards the overnight.
Got that working?
On the lookout.
Shut that off. Put your remote right in here. On with your TV legs. Here's your sound system. Dual zoned. So you can play music indoors. Shut it off indoors to have it just outdoors. Or both. Outdoors and indoors. For your band here, AM, FM, several FMs. Come down to mode. You can connect Bluetooth to it, auxiliary in, so you hook up your gaming systems, etc. Fireplace, not just for looks anymore. Crank this up, and you can go through all the pretty colors, but the biggest advantage of this, folks, is heat. Crank this heat up. If it's chilly in the morning or evening in here, crank this up on high and it'll get it toasty in here in no time. If you're at a campsite, if you want to get it warm, why not use their electricity to get it warm in here instead of your gas? Coming into the living room, individual lighting here. Your sofa jackknifes down, lift up on the front, lays down to another bed. Lift up on the front, pull the back forward. That'll set it back up as a sofa, and you also have a cup holder. Your table. Wiggle it and lift up. That'll remove your legs. Set your table down on these wooden lips right here. Put your back cushions on top, and that'll give you another sleeping quarters. More individual lighting here. Let's turn on your AC. Turn that down. Hear that crank up. I'm going to shut your AC off. Shuts off rather quickly. Turn your heat on. Hear the heat kick on over there underneath the fridge. I'm going to shut the heat off. You'll notice that it takes a few minutes for the heat fan to cycle through before it shuts off. Your bunk area. USB ports here. Coming into your bathroom. A couple things to mention in here. This is where your 110 with GFCI resets at. And also maintain your plumbing. Keep an eye on it. You're bouncing a house down the road. You want to make sure nothing's wiggled loose over time. You have a hand crank open power exhaust vent here. And we'll head back into your bedroom. Smoke alarm. Another hand crank open power exhaust for your living room. Nice airflow. In your bedroom. A couple things mentioned in here. You're also prepped for a TV here. There's a backer here. Cable and 110. Separate entry doorway, big closet, 110 and USBs next to the bed, and of course, storage under the bed. I think that about covers everything on the inside. Let's act like we're getting ready to leave the campsite and close everything up. I like to start by shutting off my interior lights, because then I can walk through and see any individual lighting I may have left on. None. Next, doors and drawers. Make sure all doors and drawers are closed. Nothing's going to impede your slides from coming in. These utilize about every inch, so you want to keep them as close as you can. Turn our interior lights back on and simply hit slide in. Again, making sure all doors and drawers are closed. And we'll run our slide in. Make sure if you have your TV out on a swivel that you have that tucked back up against the wall. Put your slides in. Shut off our interior lights and exit the unit. Now the biggest thing on these steps, you want to make sure this exterior door is all the way open. Otherwise this could catch on it. Lift this up inside, turn your handle either way, and that'll lock these in here. Lock and deadbolt your exterior door. Lift and turn your handle, your door is ready for travel. At this point, we'll unhook our cable, our water, and our power. We will hook up our hitch and head on up to the dump station. Now at the dump station, before messing with your sewage, we're going to go ahead and dump some low point drains. If you're out at dry camping somewhere and your fresh water's filled up, you can go ahead and dump that right there. And then at a campsite, hooked up to their water, we'll come back here and open up and dump both those low point drains. After that water's done draining, lastly, you're going to come over here to your hot water heater. Lift up on this pressure release valve. That's going to release the remaining of your hot water. Make sure you push that back down, otherwise your door won't close. Then you can pull your drain plug. Now we got a couple dumps to make. Got a 10-foot hose, comes to your convenience pack. Park accordingly at the dump station. Your dump is going to be almost at the rear of the unit, and then you have another one up there. Hook up your hose. First thing we're going to do is pull wastewater holding. That's going to be your black handle. After it sounds like that's no longer draining, or someone goes inside and holds down the button for the black tank and it looks empty, leave that black handle open. Again, with your water pressure regulator, hook up the hose at the dump station and turn that on for a good 5 minutes. That's going to wash all the nastiness out of your black tank. Once that's done, remove your hose. Make sure that it's all done draining, all your washout. When that's done, close your black and pull your gray. Now those will be cleaner water, sinks and showers. That'll clean your sewage hose out for you. Remove from here, come to your front galley tank. Hook up your hose and pull that gray handle. Again, cleaner water, sinks and showers. That'll clean your hose out good for you. Then you take that hose and conveniently and sanitarily store it right here in your bumper. Again, we thank you guys so much for your purchase. Hope you enjoy this Catalina for many years to come. Happy camping.